Hello and welcome to another episode of my Productivity Mastery series. My name is Pullein and today we're looking at the absolute fundamental basics of any practical good productivity system. Those three things are collect or capture, organize and do. The three fundamental parts. And I'm going to go through each one by one so that you have a clear idea of what each part means. And this means that it doesn't matter what productivity system you use, whether you use my time sector system, whether you use traditional GTD system or some other productivity system, these three fundamental things must be there in order for the system to actually work for you. So let's start off with collect. Collecting basically means when you have an idea or you get a commitment or you get an event, you get it into your system. Now, if it's a task, if it's a commitment for you to do something, then that usually means your task manager. You need to get it into your task manager. Now, the thing is, if you're using complex systems, and it's really difficult to get something into your task manager's inbox, for example, you're not going to do it. You're going to resist. You need to be fine-tuning the collection part. How fast can you get something into your system? Now, ideally, it should be one click and you're typing if you're using your phone. It should be a keyboard shortcut on your computer that is universal. And what I mean by universal, it means that if you're in Microsoft Word writing a document and you have an idea, you should be able to initiate the keyboard shortcut and add the task immediately. And that's the key part of collecting. You really want to be looking to fine-tune and optimize the collecting point, because the easier it is to collect something into your system, the more likely you are going to do it and not erroneously trust your mind to remember what it was that you wanted to do. And I've done this so many times. I could be writing my journal in the morning and suddenly I go, oh, it's a fantastic idea. I'm just going to, in Todoist, which is the task manager that I use, all I need to do on my iPad, which is where I write my journal, is just swipe left from the right, and that gives me my Todoist inbox. I have that set up as a side, I don't know what they call it, maybe widget on my iPad. So it's just a swipe from the right and I'm instantly in my inbox. So it's swipe, tap, and I'm typing. So that's actually two movements, but there's no other way of getting it. I can't use keyboard shortcuts like that on my iPad when I'm in my journal. But I've optimized it so that that is set up as a side menu, if you like, on my iPad. So I can just swipe left from the right and immediately I can start typing, or just plus and then type, and I'm into my system. I've really minimized it to the most simplest way of getting something into my system. Likewise, on my computer, I have keyboard shortcuts set up so I can just hit Shift Command A. A for me means add. And I've got the add window box on my computer screen and I can type it in. And that's where you want to be looking. Make sure that your task manager, your notes app and your calendar are set up, if you're using the Apple's iOS system, on your share sheet. You've got widgets on Android, so make sure that they are set up so it's just one tap. Wherever you can make it one tap. Because the faster you can get something into the system, the less likely you are going to resist, and then you're more likely to get it into the system. And that's the key part, because if you're not getting stuff into the system, step 2, organize, is irrelevant because you haven't got anything there to organize. Now, organizing is very personal. The way we organize our files, the way we organize our tasks, and the way we organize our calendar is going to be very personal. It has to work for you. And one of the biggest mistakes I see people making is they look for somebody else's system and then try and copy that, thinking that, well, if it works for them, it's going to work for me. Well, if you were a machine, that would probably be true, but you're not a machine. You are a human being. You think differently to everyone else. And that's one of the great things about being human, is we can think for ourselves. Now, the great thing about modern applications is that they have amazing search functionality. So if we're talking about organizing your notes, for instance, you probably don't need to get it so minutely, perfectly organized these days, because you just need to use search. Now, I used Evernote for many, many, many years. Evernote enables me to use a keyboard shortcut. For me, it's Command J, which brings up a dialog box. I can then type in whatever I want to do. So I could type in C.O.D, which is really the essence of this video, and it will give me all my notes related to the collect, organize, and do system right there. I don't necessarily need to create file folders, subfolders, tags, and everything else for C.O.D, because I can search for C.O.D so quickly. And I wouldn't use such a hierarchical structure anyway, not now. In the past, I did, to be fair, because search wasn't as good. But search is so powerful now. The only thing I realized that I need to focus on is make sure that every note, for instance, has a clear title. Every task has a clear, actionable verb, which is part of also what you need to be doing when you're organizing. Let me explain. When we collect something, we're often in a rush. It's like, oh, I've got to call Dave about this project. But what we actually do is we type in Dave, project X. Now, it might mean something when you add it today, but in 2 weeks' time, when that task comes round, you think, why am I calling Dave? So this is something that you want to be doing when you're organizing your tasks. So notes is one thing. Make sure you have very, very clear titles with good keywords related to the note that you collected. With your task manager, make sure that you have clear, actionable verbs for each task. So for example, call Dave about project X. When will his presentation be ready? That gives me the information I need, and it takes me, 3 seconds to write the additional words, just clarifying what that task means. And it makes it so much easier. I don't procrastinate. Call Dave about what? Now I'm having to think, why do I need to call Dave? What's the problem? And the time is ticking away. But if I come to a task, call Dave about project X, when will his presentation be ready? I see that and think, great, that's a 2-minute call. I'm going to do it now. I'm not going to procrastinate. Likewise, if you have to write a report, this can be difficult. Now, writing a report is write report. Now, often that can be too big a task. You might think, oh, that's a 3-hour job. So what you want to be doing is breaking it down, but not into minute parts. You break it down using the verbs, like start writing report, continue writing report, finish writing report. That is a much better way of writing your task, because now it's not so big. What does start writing a report mean? Well, as long as you set up the Word document or Pages document or Google Doc, as long as you set that up with your title, get everything ready, you can check that off. Now, hopefully you'll spend a bit more time doing it then, but effectively you've done the task. No matter how you feel, I am sure you can at least set up the document. What does continue mean? Well, continue means, let's say I've got a project to write. It's going to take me, I've got 10 days before the deadline. So continue writing report. All I have to do is write 2 or 3 paragraphs a day if I want to. And again, hopefully once you get started, you get into the zone and you can move on. So organizing means that you get the right actionable verbs set up in your task manager. So there's no procrastination. There's no, oh, what does that mean? Or, oh, that's a bit too big. I won't do that today. I'll do this one today because that's so much easier. If you're not writing your tasks in a good, clear, actionable way, what's going to happen is you'll pick the easy tasks, or you'll just reschedule some of them and reschedule the more difficult tasks. So be really, really good with writing tasks. Make sure your notes, when you're organizing your notes, make sure that you are giving it a very, very clear title. And I would always recommend that you have some basic structure in your notes app. It doesn't have to be complex, I actually did one called GAPRA, which is goals, areas of focus, projects, resources, and archive. If you're looking for some basic system, that one will work, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes for you so you know what GAPRA is. And finally, the do part of C.O.D, D. Doing means you're spending time doing the work, not organizing the work. There's a time to organize. Collecting is something you do throughout the day because we don't know when stuff is going to come up. But you want to be focused on doing. Now, if you're looking at a ratio here, I'm going to tell you that your goal is to get to 95% of your time spent doing, not organizing, just 5% organizing. Now, remember a while ago, I did some calculating here. If you're doing it right, you will only need to spend 20 minutes a day organizing the stuff you collected. Now, out of, say, a 24-hour day, just spending 20 minutes organizing what you collected is going to keep you on top of your game. It's going to keep you productive. If you're spending 2 or 3 hours changing colors, changing the background of your Notion page, because I know that's what a lot of Notion users use, or spend hours building templates so you can share to the world and say, look how beautiful my template is. Remember, whenever you're doing that, you're not doing any work. You're organizing, you're messing around, you're fiddling, you're dabbling, you're not doing work. You have to restrict the amount of time you spend organizing, which is why you need to get your collecting absolutely pinpoint and optimized so that when it comes to organizing, you know exactly where it needs to go and it's done, and then you can get back to doing the work. The D part is the most important thing if you truly want to be productive. That's really what I wanted to talk to you about today. I see so many people spending way too much time trying to come up with better systems. Well, it's not about the system. Stop overcomplicating it. You just need a simple system to collect stuff when it comes up in your mind or when you get asked to do something. Just a basic organizing system so that you can find stuff when you need it, and then you just want to get yourself focused in on doing the work. Now, if you can focus in those 3 areas and optimize them and get them right, you are never going to have any time management issues. You're never going to be overwhelmed. You're never going to be stressed. You're always going to be on top of your game, and you're going to be so much more relaxed and happy. Isn't that a better state to be in? And it's just about simplifying your systems, making sure those 3 areas are right and optimized so that they work for you. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching this video, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week. Hello, thank you very much for watching my videos. Now, I have something exciting to tell you about. Recently, I have developed a brand new time management system. It's a system designed to manage your time in the 21st century. The world has changed a lot over the last 20 years. In fact, it's actually changed a lot this year. And what we need now is a system, a time management system that is very easy to use, easy to maintain, so that you can spend more of your time doing the work. And that's what the time sector system is all about. It's going to change your whole belief system about the way a time management system should work, because this focuses on when you are going to do the task. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter how motivated, inspired, or how urgent something is. If you don't have time to do it, it is never going to get done. And that's what this system is built around, getting your work done, so you can spend more of your time doing the things that you want to do. I hope you join me in this course. The full details of the course are in the show notes below, so please join me, and thank you very much for watching this brief video.